Because I'm a Newcastle fan. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Alright, jokes aside, you've probably realised the video isn't 20 seconds long. And I get it, some people want to see the derby games back, and to be honest, up until, I'd say kind of recently, I think I was in the same boat. Because the reality is, I think I was almost being a little bit like a keyboard warrior who's had his bluff called. I grew up as a Newcastle fan pretty much just in the Mike Ashley era, so that's pretty much all I remember. So for me, derby days were literally the only thing that was exciting for most of my time as a Newcastle fan. But when I say I think I've been a bit like a keyboard warrior that's had his bluff called, when I was originally saying I'd like to see the derby days back when Sunderland were down in League One, it never really felt like an actual reality then, so I wasn't really giving much proper thought to it. But now, I've now had to think about it. It's essentially like Sunderland have turned up at my front door and been like, are you the one who said you're going to bang my mum? Like, I've had the bluff called, and now that I'm thinking about it, it's the last fucking thing I want. When Sunderland were down in League One, that nostalgia, I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to see derby days again. It's like saying yes to going to dinner at someone's house about 6 months in advance, and then when the time comes round, you're like, fuck, why did I agree to that? And I know that there'll still be a lot of you out there that are still going to be in the same boat that I was, thinking, oh, I really want to see derby days again. So I'm going to explain to you why I've changed my mind. And that now they're in a final and it's looking like a possible reality that it could happen, now I'm certain I don't want it to happen. So let's get into the actual depths of why I don't want to see Sunderland back in the Premier League. So first of all, let's not forget last time they were in the Premier League, this is what it looked like. And I'm all for a bit of banter between clubs. Like, none of that's really any skin off my back. Like, I'm not losing sleep over any of these like banners that they're sending over the stadium and stuff. The same way that I'm not really that bothered anymore about the stuff that Villa did in 2009. But the point is, some fans still are. You know, I made a video the other week and I had a little bit of praise for Villa in the video. And there were some Newcastle fans in the comments saying they can't stand Villa and they can't stand that I'm saying nice things about their club. So if some fans still hate Villa for a banner they did in 2009, then I can't see any world in which any fans would want Sunderland to do remotely well in any scenario. And then the second reason, probably the main reason, as I said, about 10 years ago or whenever it was that Sunderland were last in the Premier League, back then derby days were pretty much the highlight of the season. You'd get the fixture list at the start of the season, you'd look for the derby days. Those were the only real things that you had to be excited about, because both of us were just trying to stave off relegation and both of us were hoping the other one got relegated. But the reality is, we're not in the same boat anymore. We don't give a shit about that anymore. We're not trying to fight off relegation. They will be, we're not. And I couldn't be happier that that's the case. I wouldn't trade that for the world. So if that means I don't have to give a shit about Sunderland anymore and I don't have to give a shit about derby days anymore, I'm going to choose that over going back to where we were every day of the week and twice on Sundays. And I'm not saying we couldn't potentially have both. If Sunderland do come up, it's not that we aren't going to be able to compete for things. It's not that we're just going to have to focus purely on beating Sunderland. But why would I wish for Sunderland to do well if it will invariably make things slightly harder for us? Like, it's not that I'm scared of Sunderland coming up in any way. If they do come up, let's just absolutely fucking smash them and send them straight back down. It's more a case that I just think there could be a very annoying little inconvenience. Because ultimately now, we're trying to win things. We're trying to win potentially titles. We're going to be in European football. We've just won a trophy. I'm sure we're going to be going after more trophies. We've just seen an interview from Bruno to say he wants to win more trophies.
We want to qualify for Champions League. We want to win more things in the next season.
And ultimately, for all that to happen, squad depth is going to be pretty fucking crucial. So we're going to be needing to manage minutes, rotating players. All of that is going to be really important. And the last thing we need is 2 games a year where an absolute fucking clampet like Luke O'Nien is running round like he's possessed by fucking Roy Keane or something, trying to absolutely clatter our players and have Bruno and Isak out injured. And not to mention, that's a fixture in the season that is going to be 10 times harder for us than it is going to be for anyone else in the league. You only have to look at some of the recent results Everton have had against Liverpool to see how that's the case. Sunderland are still going to be in that position where they're looking at the game against us as the highlight of their season. It won't be the highlight of our season anymore, but it will be the highlight of theirs. So outside of trying to stave off relegation, they're going to spend pretty much all year gearing up for these 2 fixtures, because nothing will ignite their season more than having us slip on the banana skin that is the Sunderland fixture, because ultimately that would derail our season if we were to lose that game, and they know it would. If we lost against Sunderland now, there'd be more than horses getting punched. And I'm not condoning that behavior. I'm just saying if it happened then, imagine what would potentially happen now. I mean, I just made a video a couple of days ago about fans overreacting to a 1-0 loss away at the Emirates, a fixture that at the start of the season, when you first get the fixture list, you're probably expecting to lose that fixture. So imagine the absolute head loss, the disarray the club would be in if we lost to Sunderland. And that's going to be their objective for the entire season, is to make sure that happens. They're not going to have that same energy for City, Arsenal, Liverpool, teams that hopefully we're going to be in a title race with. And do you really think when it comes to the business end of the season, and if we're in a title race with a Liverpool or an Arsenal, if Sunderland end up against Liverpool or Arsenal in them last few games, do you really think Sunderland are going to do us a favour? Are they going to do us a favour? They're going to roll out the red carpet, hand over 3 points to Liverpool or Arsenal to ensure we do not win anything. And I get that the alternative is Sheffield United come up and they're probably not going to do anything to Liverpool, City or Arsenal either. So they're probably not going to do us a favour either. But at least we get the same team that City, Liverpool and Arsenal get. They're not trying 10 times harder against us than they are all them other teams. And let's say we aren't competing for a title or Champions League next year, but Sunderland managed to stay up. I think it's almost a given that at some point over the next few years, we will be competing. But if Sunderland do stay up, it's very unlikely that in the next 2 or 3 years, they're going to have any other goal than trying to shit on our parade. Their season objective is likely to be, don't get relegated, try cause as much carnage for Newcastle as they possibly can. And I'm sure they'll be back in the Premier League at some point, and we'll have to deal with them in the same way that Liverpool have to deal with Everton. And I'm sure by then it won't be too much of a problem for us, the same way that Everton aren't too much of a problem for Liverpool. Liverpool still won the title this season, even with Everton trying to derail it. But all I'm saying is I'd just like maybe another 5 years just without Sunderland in the Premier League, just whilst we establish ourselves as top level competitors, and then they can come and try and do whatever they want. So as much as derby days might be a lot of fun, and I guess it will be a silver lining to have that occasion back, I think realistically, we just have bigger fish to fry now. And don't get me wrong, this isn't me saying I'm scared of Sunderland. Absolutely far from it. I'd bet my house on it that we'd absolutely smash them. But the problem is, derbies are fun when you're equally as bad and you're both scrapping for bragging rights. That's not how it is anymore. If we beat them, it's expected. Of course, we're meant to beat them. As I said earlier, if they beat us, meltdown. As I said, that's not me saying that I think they will beat us, because I think far from it. I watched about 20 minutes of one of them semi-finals and I could not believe the gulfing class from what we watch every week in Bruno, Joelinton and Tonali compared to the B-Tech, Bellingham, Lefay and whoever else they have in their midfield. I don't know who their players are, they're irrelevant. And then the final reason why I don't want Sunderland to get promoted to the Premier League, it's Sunderland. That's it. That's the third reason. At the end of the day, derby days were the highlight of my season for a long time, and I completely get the nostalgia, but I could not be happier to leave that nostalgia in the past, because the situation we find ourselves in now is 1,000 times better than scrapping for bragging rights with Sunderland. And I'll take competing for Europe over scrapping for bragging rights any day of the week. Let me know in the comments where you stand. I know it's not a black and white topic, pun fully intended. Do you want them back? Do you not want them back? I categorically don't want them back. And with that said, thank you for watching. I appreciate all the support on the channel. Remember to keep an eye out for the £50 giveaway on the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you on the next one.